It's my honor to share my experience. So yeah, today I'm going to explain about are you confident your credentials are going to the real service provider. So before I start this, let me quickly introduce about me and my company. We are mutual authentication technology provider. The main product is Auto OTP and Auto Password and Auto Password ID card. This technology is used very well in the financial company in Korea and government, even the president office in Korea. I'm the CEO of this company. Okay, let me share what I changed for the authentication industry so far. Okay, probably if you come from bank, you are thinking about how well we are going through open banking and omnichannel banking. If you are thinking about that matters, you have to have the strong bank ID and financial authentication backend. However, from my standpoint, you are not enough. You don't have enough bank ID and authentication technology. The reason is the existing bank ID and financial authentication has fundamental problem. That is, as you know that always the user of bank provide their credentials to the banks from the password, OTP, SMS code, PKI certificate, even biometrics and behavioral patterns, right? It always going from the customer to the banks. To work the user authentication technology correctly, it requires precondition. Precondition is the user have to meet the authentic bank. How about what if this customer connected with fake website first? As you know that someone in the middle of the bank, someone in front of your bank, they can steal your customer's credential, even biometrics, right? So someone will think about, if I got the SMS code from the bank, probably I can convince them I met a correct website or correct banking. However, even though you have received the SMS from the bank, you might be connected with the fake bank first. If you connected with fake bank first, you can also get the SMS code, and then by providing SMS code, you can your credential can go to the other person's, right? So on the offline, what the common sense is to verify who we're connected with, we providing our credentials. However, on the online, the user always provide the user credentials without verifying where we are connected with. Although the more user authentication technologies are added, the more security is not enhanced dramatically. The bank, in my standpoint, the bank only give a burden to the user without any security enhancement, like this. So we need to find a better way to decrease the customer authentication burden while increasing the bank security. So if I answer that question, for answer that question, I wanted to say like this: instead of user-only authentication, let's try to start use the mutual authentication. Mutual authentication is needed where the most trust is required, especially in the military. So let me show you one quick demo. So as I mentioned that we provide Auto OTP, let's just suppose the customer already have the Auto OTP app in their mobile, in their smartphone. Under that situation, if the customer connected with the bank and then type the ID and password, in the second step authentication phase, instead of asking the user type the OTP code, once the Auto OTP is applied, bank present the code to the user first, and then ask the user verify that code with your own mobile. Once the two code is matched, by giving the customer biometrics, bank also verified that customer is authentic. That's how auto OTP works. So we do not ignore existing any kind of user authentication technology. We just adding the service authentication layer on top of user authentication. We support TOTP, challenging response OTP, biometrics. Also, we are certified by the FIDO. So we support any kind of user authentication technologies. Existing OTP only certified by the user authentication. However, auto OTP authenticate the user OTP allow the customer authenticate the online bank first and then giving their credentials. And then after we developed that, we took one more step to get rid of user password. The name of technology is auto password. Take a look. So once the bank applied the auto password, instead of asking the customer type the user password, if the customer type the ID only, bank present the automatic password to the user first, and then ask the user verify the code is authentic. So this app do not receive an authentic code from the bank. By itself, it generates the code, and then ask the user verify two code is matched by as a sign of approval by giving their biometrics. Bank also verify the customer and then let them in. So compared to the auto OTP, auto password support, whenever the user get in the online service, update the user password. So from the user standpoint, they do not need to memorize and change it and input the password. So again, this technology does not ignore any kind of user authentication technology. We just slightly adding service authentication layer on top of user authentication. That's the mutual authentication. So we are as I mentioned, that we are certified by the FIDO, and we are the IBM security partner, and we are mentioned in the Gartner report, and then basically we are we are certified by the Korean government technology authority. Okay, so some of you in here might think mutual authentication is similar like mobile push-based authentication technologies. Yeah, some of you in here might think about that, but existing mobile push-based authentication technologies only designed to check whether the customer have a right user authenticator. So if the customer connected with a fake website first and then got the push notification, they will probably consent that connection. But that consent, their approval, is for the hacker's connection, not for the customer's connection. Because of that, it looks similar, but concept is totally different, right? So yeah, that's what we are provide. Okay, let me show you the demo, how mutual authentication work well with omni-channel banking service. So whenever we adding the more banking service, so because of that, our bank ID and authentication method are too much fragmented. At the ATM, we have to input the ID card and PIN code. On the telephone banking, we have to input the dial and then PIN code and OTP. Yeah, so following the multi-channel, we have to provide a multi-channel authenticator to the customer. To provide a better omni-channel banking service, we have to change our authentication technologies. But some of you in here, if you think about customer smartphone will be an omni-channel authenticator in the future, it's not. It cannot be naturally become omni-channel authenticator. As you see that, the mobile authentication, mobile biometric sensor on the smartphone cannot authenticate the user on the internet banking on the PC. It is only designed for checking the user's biometric within the mobile phone. So from the user standpoint, they have to register their biometrics following the device or following the channel. So because of that, mobile by itself, it cannot become a naturally omni-channel authenticator. So let me show you one quick demo. If you apply the auto password for your omni-channel banking service, when the customer go to the ATM, without needing to insert the ID card, just type their ID and then select amount. And then ATM present a one-time code to the user first, and then ask the user verify that code is authentic. As you know that our customers sometimes open their PIN code at the ATM by the hacker. However, if the code is starting from the ATM to the customer, from the customer standpoint, they do not remember and they don't have any vulnerability to open their PIN code. Furthermore, this type of mutual authentication technology also work well in the telephonic banking service. So far, when we provide the telephone banking service or AI speaker banking service, we have to ask the customer type or input the OTP code at least, right? But instead of asking them insert something, by listening them the one-time code to the customer, and then asking them verify that code one on their smartphone. So once the two code is met, voila, it's done. So again, if we start thinking about the other way of authentication, the other direction of authentication, we can give more convenience to the customer. So there is no one. Of course, there can be someone, but it's hard to recognize the 6-digit OTP code read at once and then type it the 6 code without any mistake at once. But by listening the 6-digit code, we can give more freedom to the customer. Okay, let me show you one more demo for the open banking. Probably you are preparing for the open banking service. But the open banking service, to run the open banking service, it requires third-party provider. Try to connect to the customer bank account to the third party. But in case, if the customer connected with fake merchant first, in case they will probably input the banking credentials, right? Out there are so many fake websites, but furthermore, there might be, sooner or later, we will meet the fake merchant, try to steal the bank credentials. In case, how our customer can compete with the fake merchant? We have to think about that furthermore than the hackers or attackers. So, but if you provide mutual authentication technology to your customer, you can make your customer have a confidence when they connected with the merchant. If the customer select the PSD payment method, the banking login page will come up. At the moment, by providing auto password mutual authentication technology, let the customer verify the bank first, and then by giving their biometrics, bank also verify that, and then authentication is done. After that, we ask the customer authorize that transaction. So, if the bank, as a bank, if you think about become an identity provider in your region or in your country, I strongly recommend you to adding the mutual authentication technology on top of your OAuth2 or OpenID Connect. Reason is, if you rely on the one-way vulnerable user authentication technologies, you might fall your customer into the cliff, because they don't have any chance to verify where we are connected with. So again, I hope you change your concept. So like we do in the open banking, we are trying to deliver the customer right to the customer. But in the authentication era, authentication industry, we didn't do that. Like a bank does, we also have the authentication method that have to be changed. I think so. Okay. Okay, so let me summarize the technologies. If apply the open bank, if you're thinking about the open banking and omnichannel banking for your banking service, I strongly recommend you change your existing one-way user authentication with the mutual authentication technologies. If you've done that, you can provide more convenience to your customer, and then you can give more confidence to your customer as well. Yeah, that's how mutual authentication technologies change the bank in the future. Okay, in Korea, what we are doing is we provided this technology to the large enterprises or the government, even the president's office use it. So besides that, for the B2C or G2B purpose, we provided this technology. Number one credit card processing company, VP, they use it. And then not only that, also VP tried to become an identity service provider in Korea using this technology. The reason is they can differentiate their service compared to the large IT company like Apple or Google does. So from the bank standpoint, you don't have no choice. If the Google or Facebook keep providing the identity service, but you have to be differentiated. So with the mutual authentication technologies, you can be more differentiated compared to the large IT companies. And then again, we provide the mutual authentication technology to the government free of charge. So that's our company policy. So in Korea, the public organization, Online Privacy Association, provided this technology to the public online services. So that's what we are doing in Korea. Okay, so in summary, beside the technology matters, what I wanted to do is if we change the direction of authentication, we do not take a responsibility. So by give the burden to the online service, we can authenticate the service. If we change our authentication way, we can make customer happy and secure. Even my mother can use it. Yeah, she's close to 80, but she can use it because it does not ask her to remember the password. So besides the technology, we have to think about the convenience and satisfaction of the customer. Okay, that's my presentation. So thank you for listening. Okay.